Okay.
Okay, so one thing I want to start off with is why does your opinion trump over any other people's opinion?
Right. So do you believe that there is a truth out there?
Everything is subjective, but there is a right or wrong morally, especially when you're in a cultured society that is based off a set of standards and norms that we act on and we act as.
So everything is subjective. So is it objectively true you and I are having a conversation right now?
Yes.
So that's not subjective then. So not everything is subjective.
So why do you believe morals?
Right? So something is objective.
Yes, but why do you believe your subjective opinion
gonna get
trumps
there.
over other people's opinion?
Well, let me ask you another question. I'll tell you. I will answer.
Please don't interrupt me.
Well,
You can no. Let me finish my sentence. I do not want to hear it. You think that your opinion is over other people's opinions. You think you were right subjectively.
Okay.
What is right or wrong?
Okay. Is murder wrong?
Yes, of course.
Well, then abortion should be
Not in
illegal.
every case.
Answer to question.
What constitutes a human? What is a human?
Deoxyribonucleic acid and conception.
But to me, a
forming
human
it.
would be someone with a consciousness who is alive in this world.
Well,
To
guess
you,
what? You're wrong. So
but
that's
no,
fine.
you're wrong because I think that's right and you think that's
Prove
right.
me. Prove it wrong.
What constitutes a human being? What is the definition of a human being?
And
The creation of DNA that will never exist again, and a soul goes into that moment. I don't expect you guys.
What's a soul?
A soul?
What's a soul?
What is a soul?
What is a soul?
The eternal, indistinguishable, let's just say, non-visible being of your existence.
I don't believe that. I don't believe anything
I'm
is
sorry, I'm
eternal.
sorry you don't believe it.
But does not make yours
Yeah, your
Hold on a second.
opinion isn't
Here's the thing.
overwhelming.
At some point, somebody's truth has to win. Because guess what? Your
In
truth doesn't matter. That's
Guess
still
what?
a truth
You've had
claim.
your truth in this country for the past thousands of decades.
Thousands of decades.
Not thousands. Whatever. That's a little embarrassing. But your truth has been the narrative of this country forever.
Has
and
it?
you think
Roe
yes,
versus
the
Wade
white
just
straight
got
male truth-
repealed. Abortion was legal in this country for 40 years.
Today we step into one of the most heated debates you will ever witness. It begins with a clash over morality and truth questions of whether right and wrong can ever be subjective, or if there must always be one objective reality. Fuel the tension. From the start, the speakers waste no time diving into sensitive issues like murder, abortion, and the very definition of what makes someone human. Emotions run high as personal beliefs crash headfirst into each other. One side speaks of science, DNA, and consciousness, while the other invokes ideas of souls and spiritual identity. The atmosphere becomes intense and confrontational, raising questions about how far individuals are willing to go to defend their own truths. Each sentence feels like a hammer striking the other person, and neither is willing to back down. The stage is set for an argument that only grows more chaotic the deeper it goes.
And before the 40 years, what was
And
it?
crime dropped
Thankfully
40%
illegal in most
after it
And
went.
on top of that, do you
Oh,
not
wait,
think-
hold on. Do you think abortion lowers crime rates?
Crime dropped 40% after abortion became legal.
Why is that the case?
It's called a statistic.
Who has the most abortions in America?
Woman.
Black people. Is that
Black
so? Are you
women.
trying to say the termination of blacks in the womb lower crime? That's a very racist argument.
That is not a
Okay.
You know blacks have 45% of the
I would suggest choosing African American.
blacks. What?
That's crazy.
Okay.
Sir, that's a leading question.
Huh?
Sir, that's a leading question.
You guys can come up and talk if you want. Yeah, it's 95 degrees out here, man. So, yes, sir.
That's a racist. Okay.
No, you're the racist. You're the says that abortion lowers crime rates and blacks have the most abortions in the country. Yes. It's not name calling. Wait, is it not Black Lives Matter or is it African American Lives Matter? It's both. Oh, really? Okay, I thought it was BLM, so I say blacks. Okay.
He was just, okay, not too much, Andrew. Do you believe that you have some sort of privilege that skews your view on other people's lives? Because personally, I don't believe you could step in my shoes as a black woman and relate and understand the things. So I feel like it's not fair for you to choose what I get to do with my life because I'm a black woman in a white society.
What does being black have to do with truth?
Because there are different things that we experience,
Like what?
and my truth might not be your truth.
What, did you get into college easier than I do?
What?
Yes, you get jobs and internships that white kids don't get.
Oh, we're
You have,
poor white people.
you have entire movements dedicated to your race.
We're so
Okay. Sir, do you remember the
Those
novel?
movements are to get rights. You're crazy. Okay, salt.
Do
Give me
you,
salt.
do you not believe in racism?
Of course racism exists. The Democrat Party is still alive and well.
Do you think people are racist against white people?
All the time. All the time.
That's his definition.
Affirmative
of
action is
racism.
racism against white people. Yes.
Okay.
By this point, the conversation shifts into explosive territory accusations of racism privilege and systemic oppression surface, as the crowd reacts with both cheers and gasps. The dialogue now is not just about morality, but also about race identity and power in society. One speaker claims abortion statistics prove something shocking, while the other denounces it as deeply racist. The back and forth grows sharper as questions of privilege come into play. Can one group truly understand the lived experiences of another? What does it mean to walk in someone else's shoes? And who holds the authority to decide what truth means in such circumstances? Every sentence sparks a new level of intensity, turning the debate into something much bigger than its starting point. It is no longer about one topic, but about the very fabric of society itself.
And Asians as well.
And Asians, that's right.
So I do have a question in that sense. If affirmative action is racism, why are most colleges predominantly white?
Why are they most predominantly white?
Why are most colleges, public colleges, are predominantly white?
We're a majority white country. You realize that, right? So colleges are the depiction of the nation.
Okay.
And actually, blacks on campus are disproportionate more than their population in certain areas, in certain campuses, than their population because of affirmative action.
In HBCUs? Is that what
Certain
you're talking
campuses.
About? Are you talking about HBCUs?
So, but let me just ask a more broad philosophical question. Why does skin color matter at all? Why should we care about it?
Because of the society we live in.
Well, hold on.
Because of the
But
society.
no.
You're dismissing anything that has ever happened to someone of color
Let me ask
by
you a
saying
question.
that.
What can you do, or what can I do that you can't do?
Explain
What
how
law?
affirmative action works. Explain how
Affirmative action is lowering of tests, standards, and quota for a
Wrong.
quota.
You're an idiot.
No, it's
I'm
not.
gonna tell you
It's
how
the way
it
it works.
I'm gonna tell you how it works. 'Cause I read
Yeah,
it.
it's the way it works.
tell you
I'm
how
not
it
going to
works.
entertain fallacies.
No,
Tell me,
you won't
why?
entertain me because I
Just let him
Why-
talk. We have to hear your fallacies.
It's fine.
Why
It's
does
fine.
skin color matter?
let him talk. Well, don't
I
call him an idiot.
believe skin
Be
color
respectful.
matters
He's being
because of the
respectful.
society
He's not
we
being
are
respectful.
in.
Do you know how
And
this
I
shit
guess it
works?
goes
It's called
into critical
rights.
race theory.
Removing
Yes, it
rights
is.
Because of the
disrespectful.
society we have
I'll
lived
do it
in,
too.
race is a factor. If from the beginning of time race wasn't a factor, and there was never anybody who was oppressed because of their race, I feel like it would not play a part in anything that we do. But because literally less.
Charlie,
They were interrupting you.
You believe about black on black crime?
Do I believe in black on black crime?
Yeah.
It's abundant.
Explain, please.
Yeah, it's the number one cause of death in many black communities. I mean, I'm just being honest. Like,
He is right.
Okay. Now,
So back to our previous argument that was interrupted. So in the sense of what, like I was saying, you don't believe because of the history.
The interview now begins to burn even hotter as the discussion over race deepens. Questions of affirmative action college admissions and systemic inequality dominate the conversation. One voice insists that race should not matter at all, while the other insists it cannot be ignored because of the history that shapes society. The disagreement grows wider as neither side concedes an inch. The tension is so strong you can almost feel it through the screen. Both sides interrupt, argue, and accuse each other of ignoring basic truths. One speaker insists affirmative action lowers standards, while the other refuses to accept what they call falsehoods. The divide is massive, and neither is willing to budge, leaving the audience caught in the storm of conflicting worldviews. This is the point where the debate feels less like a discussion and more like an unstoppable collision.
And because races have been oppressed, you don't believe race plays a part in things, and you don't believe
no, that's not true. No. So, do you know who Thomas Sowell is? You know who Thomas Sowell is?
No.
I really encourage you to look. Thomas Sowell's great. He's one of the best black economists of the 20th century. Grew up in Harlem, and he's done the best research in the 1940s, 1950s, and 60s black community. And essentially, his argument is that black America was experiencing a renaissance in the 50s and 60s, despite discrimination. Yes. Now, the one part that I would agree with,
But however, it's not the black community as a whole, it's Harlem black community.
there's Chicago too, but let's pretend you're right, okay? The one argument that I would agree with, and I'm against systemic racism arguments, the one that I would say, you know what, there was something very wrong, is when Democrat Lyndon Baines Johnson came in and destroyed the black nuclear family. If there was one part where I could say, you know what, that was unjust and that has to be undone, it's when Lyndon Baines Johnson went in through the Great Society program with the intent to destroy the black nuclear family.
Okay. So in that sense, do you believe the war on drugs also played a part? Or
Not
do you not
really.
believe in
No.
the war on drugs?
Well, look, I mean, I believe we should be very harsh on drugs, but I think I would give some merit to the argument of some government agencies peddling cocaine in the inner cities. There is evidence to show that. I'm not going to debate it. Do I think it has so for example, like there's one number that I'm fascinated with, right? Single motherhood in the black community was about 28% in 1945. Okay? Now it's around 65 to 70%. Why? Are we more racist than we were in 1945?
No.
Okay. So then what happened?
Militarization.
The war on drugs.
Okay,
the
fair
war
enough.
on drugs. The demolishing the nuclear family in a sense.
Right,
And
we
I
agree.
believe due to the history that's happened, racism is still very prevalent in a lot of this a lot of the systems that are in America, correct?
Yeah. So no, of course not. But I was actually caught by your shirt. You know, Malcolm X was super pro-life.
Yes.
In the final stretch, the focus shifts toward policing prisons and militarization of law enforcement, the argument over crime statistics, and systemic bias returns stronger than ever. One side insists crime demands strict policing, while the other argues heavy militarization only increases mass incarceration. Both agree the numbers are shocking, but they cannot agree on the cause, or the solution. Frustration boils over as interruptions dominate, and both speakers try to claim the last word. Every sentence now feels like the climax of a storm, each side determined to prove that their version of truth is the only truth. By the end, nothing is resolved, but the audience is left with a raw, unforgettable glimpse into the battle of ideas. This is not just a debate, it is a clash of worlds.
I think Malcolm X could teach a lot of the black movement something, because more so than Martin Luther King, because Malcolm X, I'm getting there, Malcolm X, some people don't describe him correctly as being violent, right? That was a very small part of his literature. He was very big on trying to get black America to succeed despite the white liberal.
Yes.
And
not the white liberal.
He did say white liberal. Oh, you go look up the Malcolm X white liberal quote. And so I think that's interesting. Just think about it. Go look up Malcolm X warned against white liberals owning black America for their own gain, which is exactly what BLM is.
Okay, so back to my initial point. Back to my initial point. You don't believe that my truth can be different than yours, specifically based on race.
Experiences can be different, but there is always a truth. I'll give you an example. We all might have 5 different opinions of a car crash, right? But eventually a truth will be revealed of what really happened. Does that make sense?
So you believe that your truth is the truth that you have found yourself is the ultimate truth.
I would hope so. Yeah.
Super.
And I'm willing to learn.
And then make America great again.
Otherwise,
I
think Malcolm X can teach us a lot right now. Yes.
What do you think about like the 1960s and 70s militarization of the police? The shift in the police?
Yeah, I mean, I'm generally very pro-police. What about the military? I mean, the question is what came first, and I honestly don't know the answer. Was it the rise in crime, or was it the police that went into the inner?
If you knew what you were talking about, you would know the answer.
Yeah, it's not so clear. Because there was a massive crime wave in the early 1970s in New York, where a lot of New Yorkers demanded more police with heavier weaponry and the ability to enforce the law.
And post-militarization of the police, crime went up.
And then it went down in the 80s. Violent crime went big time down.
Well, let's talk about the 10 years that right after. What happened there? What do you think happened?
So you're drawing a correlation between police officers being militarized and more people committing crimes.
Over militarization of the police, yes.
Why?
Not exactly more people committing crimes, more people being arrested for crimes
Okay.
and put into jail or minor crimes.
I can't disagree with that.
The prison system, I mean, we account for...
Why do people go to prison, right? Because they commit crimes. So.
As the conversation nears its end, the student struggles to articulate their frustration and feels mischaracterized repeatedly. They argue that Charlie is not trying to genuinely convince people, but instead using selective framing to win and trick audiences. The clash escalates as interruptions pile up and emotions rise. Candace accuses the student of wasting the opportunity by not bringing their own statistics, while Charlie issues a challenge, inviting anyone to debate him with documents and research. This ending illustrates the divide between performance and persuasion, between the power of rhetorical dominance and the pursuit of objective truth. Ultimately, the student leaves unconvinced, and the audience is left to wonder whether facts alone are enough, or if the way they are presented changes their meaning entirely. And thank you for watching. Until the end, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to support this channel. Your engagement keeps us going and helps us bring more powerful stories for you. Stay tuned and keep watching because the next video is coming soon. See you there.